Hi. You might be wondering where I've been, or maybe you haven't, and that's totally okay because maybe you don't know me. My name's Andy. I am a writer currently working on her debut fantasy series. I'm in the revision process on the first installment of that, which is entitled House of Aptos. And I've kind of been MIA on my channel for about a month now. Life has been insane. If you follow me, then you know that just about a month ago, I went on a writing retreat in Wisconsin with a couple other author tubers, actually more than a couple, but it was incredible, a great experience. And I just got to engage with a lot of community that I've met over the last year, but not in person. So that was amazing. And after that, I kind of dropped off the deep end. I want to talk about why, and I also want to talk about a really big life update that's super exciting and will really change the way that this channel looks and the way that my writing looks. So let's rewind a little bit. The week after the writing retreat in Wisconsin, my husband and I had to move. If you rewind even further, I have mentioned on this channel that my husband and I bought a house back in January, I think it was, and it's all the way in a different state. So we spent like 3 months driving back and forth between where we live now and where we bought this house to do some renovations, and finally wrapped those up towards the beginning of April. We had fully set our plans to wrap up our jobs here in the area where we live at the end of this month, actually this week, and then move to my husband's parents' house for about a month and a half or 2 months, and then move into the house that we bought in the fall. Now, that's all very confusing, but basically, here's why. We knew that our job commitments were going to keep us in person until the end of the month of June, and we knew that when we put an offer in on the house. There was just not going to be an easy way for us to make accommodations to leave or kind of be somewhere else or work remotely. So we knew we had to be here in person, but we loved this house. We wanted to buy it, and we didn't want to have to pay both our mortgage and the rent for the place that we were currently living while, living here. So it kind of was a crazy thing, but my brother and sister-in-law were looking to get out of the one-bedroom apartment that they were in as they were expanding their family and needed more space. So it kind of worked out to have them rent this house from us starting in April. And when we first asked them if they'd be interested in it, because that would solve the problem for us of having to pay this mortgage and our rent, they said, if you can give us 6 months there instead of 3, we'll take it. So that put us to the fall, which is why we were going to go live with my in-laws. And the reason we were going to have to leave to go live with my in-laws instead of keep living where we were is because our lease was running out in the place that we were living. We were living in this duplex, and we weren't going to be able to extend that lease, so we wouldn't have had a place to stay here. And because it was only going to be like 2 months, there's not a lot of lease contracts in this area that would accommodate such a short-term living arrangement. So now that you have all that backstory, jumping forward, around the month of April, my husband got a full-time job offer out of the current position that he has. If you don't know, I don't even know if I've ever really said this on this channel, so you probably wouldn't, but my husband was currently getting his master's. He actually finishes that this week. And so he was a graduate assistant in the university that he's getting his master's from and doing work for them hourly on top of his graduate assistant work. So he did not have a full-time job officially, but he was working full-time hours while getting his degree. And this full-time job offer was really, really generous. And he also loves the people that he works with. The stipulation with it was that they wanted us to stay where we're at for 1 more year. So after months of talking about it, praying about it, thinking deeply, talking with our family and friends about what this would look like, it seemed like it actually was going to be a really great thing for us to stay 1 more year in this space. My brother and sister-in-law, his family, they're saving to build a house. Us staying here gives them more time to live in that space, save their money, and then be able to break ground later down the road. But it freed us up to be able to stay in this space. And a part of my husband's job offer was actually free housing. So we were able to make it work where we'd stay here and financially benefit way more than we would if we had moved right into our house. So it also meant that we had more job security because he already had a job offer here, and we're hoping that that can transfer to remote at some point so we don't have to have him get a new job when we do move to our house. But that kind of left me in this weird conundrum. I had applied for probably 10 or 12 jobs that I thought looked really interesting, all of which were remote. I've had it really clear in my head that I wanted my next job after the full-time position that I was in to be a remote position so that I could pursue writing and YouTube a little bit more seriously with my schedule. Right now, I've definitely been the creative who's limited to weekends and evening hours, which is honestly why a lot of my content kind of bounces back and forth between being extremely consistent and extremely sporadic. Life just really happens, and I know that's going to continue whether I'm in a remote position or part-time or no job at all. But it is hard when 40 hours of your week during daylight hours are wrapped up somewhere else. So I knew I wanted remote work. I applied for a ton of jobs. I only had one interview out of those, which led to a potential job offer down the road. The company actually ended up being in a position where they had to close the application for the job position and they weren't going to be able to hire as soon as they thought. So I'm still technically on that roster. That's a remote position and might be a great option down the road when we do end up moving. I kind of hope it does work out. But it put me in a position where I could either choose to stay one more year in the full-time job that I have here or take a leap and try to do something different. And that is where this big life shift that is super exciting comes in. As you probably saw in the title of this video, I'm leaving my 9-to-5. This is really a step of trust and a step of faith. I really want to see what I can do in the next year by putting my foot on the gas with writing and YouTube. I really believe in myself. I believe in the project I'm working on, and I believe in the community that we're building here on YouTube. Also, side note, I hopefully by the time I post this video will be at 2,000 subscribers, but as of today I was 5 short of that. So thank you so much in advance for this huge milestone. I recently also celebrated my 1 year on AuthorTube. I meant to film a video when that happened, but it was literally 2 days after we had moved, so I was not equipped even in the space we're in to film a video or anything. But reflecting on this past year, it's crazy how much community has come into my corner in this time. I knew nobody who also liked to write when I started this channel, literally not one friend. And now I have such a long list of people I know I can go to who are in my corner supporting me and my project and this channel, but also can relate to all of the complexities that come with creative pursuits and writing specifically. And that's just so encouraging and amazing. And on top of that, it's also pushed me way farther than I ever thought I could go in my own ability as a writer and as a creative. I love making videos. I love editing them. I love making intros to vlogs and chatting to you guys. And what's so crazy is that way back when I was in high school, before I ever even actually dreamed of starting a channel, I would get ready for the morning for school and be doing my makeup and just pretend that I was talking to a camera, YouTube channel. And I don't know why. I think that's just always been my personality of wanting to like be with other people, even if I couldn't physically be with them. I'm an extrovert. I love to talk. I love to tell people about my life. And I just always pictured making content being such a fun addition to the things I already enjoy. So it's been amazing to get to actually like tap into that and do it and see it be what I would consider successful to this point. So I'm really, really grateful for you guys. I hope we can continue to build a community. I hope I can continue to be more active on this platform. And yeah, those are some of the things that I've learned in this past year. All of that kind of contributed to a big motivation to leave my 9-to-5. Now, I am taking a pay cut. I recently, literally just last week, accepted a part-time position, actually still with the university that I was working for, but now I will be working only 20 hours a week and actually only have to work 4 days a week. So that's exciting because it gives me a 3-day weekend every week. I plan on Fridays being kind of like content days and the other hours in my week that I'm not at work being writing days. So I think that's going to be a really great setup for the productivity of my channel and then also writing. I think it's going to be really important that I do like an even split between those two. I think it would be really unrealistic if I just said, okay, for the extra 20 hours in the week, I'm going to write all of those hours. I would love that if I could be that disciplined. But I think that this next year is going to be really a test run or kind of like dipping my toe in the water of what it would look like to be self-employed per se as a full-time writer. Obviously, once I publish House of Aptos, I'm really hoping that I can start dedicating even more time towards this avenue, especially as it becomes something that I might start making money at. That would be amazing. I do not currently make really much of anything from YouTube, and I definitely don't make anything from writing. But I'd love to see that grow in the next year because when we do end up actually moving to our house and taking that next step in that next season of life. I'd love to be in a spot where I only need to get, a coffee shop job that works 10 to 15 hours a week or 20 or whatever, or find some remote part-time job and be making, the other chunk of my income from either writing or YouTube. Because the longer I do this, the more I realize that it is definitely something I could see myself doing for a long time. And I want to trust that I'm capable and start investing in that. And that's what this next year is going to be. And I'm literally so excited for it. So I'm actually in the last week of my full-time job right now. It's currently Tuesday while I'm filming this, and my last day is this Friday, June 20th. So that's exciting. Now, the real question is, does that mean I'll be more active right away on this channel? Unfortunately, probably not. My weekends and weeks are kind of crazy through these next 3 weeks. And one thing that I am really trying to do as I think about investing in YouTube and myself and just all the creative things more seriously is avoiding burnout or making it feel like an obligation. I think what's beautiful about YouTube for me and what's beautiful about writing for me is that I've never felt the need to force my hand in those things. And I don't want to get to that point. The beauty of not having this be my stream of income right now is that if I need to take a break, I can. And the only thing that's really penalized in that is maybe a few video views or a couple extra subscribers. And honestly, those are not the reason that I'm in this. They're not the reasons that motivate me to post or talk about my project or anything. And so I'd rather protect my mental health and the things that are happening for me in the real world right here, right now. So that being said, we are traveling this weekend. Next weekend, we have to move again because the space I'm in right now is actually just a temporary apartment that we were given, which is so awesome. But we have to move into the apartment that we will be in for this next year, literally next week on Monday. This weekend we're out of town. My last day of work, my last 2 days of work are huge event days with the university, so those are going to be packed. And then next week we're moving, and then we go on vacation with my family and the vacation with my husband's family. So that's like a week and a half of just like busyness, but also time to actually recharge and replenish. The full-time job I've been in has been so rewarding, but it's also been draining in, a very relational way. So I think I'm going to take this next week and a half to really charge my batteries. I know it might seem like that's what I was doing since I've been so MIA, but the last few weeks from the writing retreat to now have been so crazy. We have not really had a single weekend or a single moment to actually take a beat, take a breath, and recharge. I'm going to consider these next few weeks of vacation time and moving and all of that my time to genuinely unplug, disconnect, recharge, and kind of take a little reset before I head into a whole new season and a whole new setup of my normal routines. So I start the job that will be my part-time job, free from the corporate life a little bit. We're almost there after the 4th of July. Expect to see and hear more from me then. I cannot wait to catch up with you guys. I am sure that I will be doing content of what my new daily routines look like and how life is treating me in this new season. So I'll talk to you guys then. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope your projects are going well. I hope you're getting some beautiful weather where you're at. It's sunny and like 80 here. It's been awesome. I'm pretty sure I'm like 4 times as tan as I was last time I was on camera. So I hope you're also getting some sun if that's a goal of yours. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. If you'd like to stick around and see what this new season is going to look like for me, please feel free to subscribe and I'd love to get to know you. So yeah. I think that's all I have for you guys, and I can't wait to see you again soon. See ya.